911. What's your emergency? The trainer's down. Orca has the trainer. We need help now. What was meant to be a flawless performance, a breathtaking testament to trust between human and animal, spiraled into a nightmare no one could have predicted. This is the story of Maris Ellington, a dedicated orca trainer whose final moments shattered the marine entertainment world and left a wound that still lingers today. Before we dive in, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story so we can continue bringing you powerful, heartfelt documentaries like this one. Maris Ellington wasn't just any marine mammal trainer. Her connection to the ocean was deep-rooted and lifelong. While other kids collected seashells or built sandcastles, Maris memorized the names of whales and dolphins, imitating their calls by the age of 10. At 16, she was already volunteering at her local aquarium, cleaning tanks, taking meticulous notes, and asking questions others overlooked. By 24, she graduated with honors in biology, specializing in marine behavior. But it was her extraordinary empathy and ability to communicate with orcas that truly set her apart. Colleagues often remarked on her almost mystical bond with these massive black and white sea creatures, the very predators others approached with fear. The orcas seemed to trust her in ways that baffled even the most seasoned trainers. Her talent earned her a coveted spot at OceanWorld's flagship marine park within a year of graduation. A dream come true, or so it seemed. Maris quickly rose through the ranks, becoming one of OceanWorld's most respected orca handlers. Visitors remembered her by name, and trainers in training sought her guidance. She was more than just a performer. She was a protector and a voice for the animals she cared for. Behind the scenes, she quietly championed better treatment and enriched environments for the whales. Maris believed humans and orcas could coexist on a foundation of respect, not domination, often saying, "They don't work for us, we work together." But beneath the dazzling spectacle of synchronized jumps and splashes, the truth was far more complex. Orcas are highly intelligent, emotional, and sometimes unpredictable creatures. Realities Maris understood better than anyone, yet even she could not foresee what lay ahead. OceanWorld Marine Park, sprawling over 60 acres along the coast, was a monument to human fascination with the sea. Its intricate network of enclosures, theaters, and artificial lagoons attracted millions annually, with the Orca Spectacular as its crown jewel. This high-energy, emotionally charged show showcased some of the largest predators ever held in captivity. Behind towering glass and crashing waves, these majestic killer whales performed with jaw-dropping precision, leaping, spinning, and splashing in perfect harmony, inspiring awe in children and wonder in adults alike. But behind the applause lay a complicated legacy. One of beauty, yes, but also shadows. OceanWorld's Orca program began over 30 years ago, in a time when capturing wild orcas was still legal in parts of the world. Early shows were simple displays of power and obedience, but over time, the choreography evolved. Trainers swam with the whales, surfing their dorsal fins, even kissing them on the nose. What the public never saw was the immense psychological and physical strain on both humans and animals, struggling to uphold this fragile illusion of harmony. Among the orcas at OceanWorld, one stood out. Cairo, a massive 11,000-pound bull captured off Iceland as a calf. At 23 feet long, he was an imposing presence, muscular, broad-finned, and marked with deep scars from dominance battles with other males. Trainers described Cairo as intelligent yet moody and unpredictable. Over his 2 decades in captivity, he'd been involved in several tense moments. Times when he ignored commands, showed signs of agitation, or acted territorially toward staff. Though none resulted in injury, every incident was logged quietly in internal reports, rarely seen beyond the park's walls. Experts had long warned about the dangers of confining orcas, especially males, in captivity. These animals, used to roaming up to 100 miles daily with their tight-knit family pods, suffer immensely when confined to concrete tanks, isolated from natural stimuli, and forced into artificial social groups. Dr. Elaine Satterfield, a marine biologist and former consultant to OceanWorld, once said, "Taking an orca from its natural home isn't just putting it in a tank, it's putting its mind in a box. And sometimes that mind breaks. Despite the warnings, Cairo remained the star attraction, drawing huge crowds and performing reliably, at least until recently. In the weeks leading up to that tragic day, something shifted. Cairo began floating listlessly near the surface, less responsive to trainers. He started jaw-popping more often, a subtle but well-known sign of stress or dominance in orcas. These signs were easy to miss, but they were there, and on the morning of the attack, the water's surface was calm, deceptively so. Nobody knew that beneath the tranquil facade, tension was boiling. February 17th dawned bright and clear at OceanWorld. Excitement buzzed through the amphitheater as visitors filled the seats for the midday Orca spectacular. Backstage, Maris Ellington prepared as she always did, running through her checklist, checking in with handlers, watching Cairo circle the performance tank with slow, deliberate movements. At 11:46, she stepped onto the poolside platform, wetsuit zipped, hair tied back, headset in place. The crowd erupted as Cairo breached in a perfect arc, drenching the front row. It looked like any other show, smooth and rehearsed, but subtle things were off. Cairo hesitated on two cues, delayed sliding onto the platform, and his tail slaps hit the water harder, sending deeper reverberations across the pool. Trainers exchanged worried glances. Something was wrong. February 17th dawned bright and clear at OceanWorld. Excitement buzzed through the amphitheater as visitors filled the seats for the midday Orca spectacular. Backstage, Maris Ellington prepared as she always did, running through her checklist, checking in with handlers, watching Cairo circle the performance tank with slow, deliberate movements. At 11:46, she stepped onto the poolside platform. Wetsuit zipped, hair tied back, headset in place. The crowd erupted as Cairo breached in a perfect arc, drenching the front row. It looked like any other show, smooth and rehearsed, but subtle things were off. Cairo hesitated on two cues, delayed sliding onto the platform, and his tail slaps hit the water harder, sending deeper reverberations across the pool. Trainers exchanged worried glances. Something was wrong. Rescue protocols swung into action. Staff scrambled to close emergency gates, attempting to isolate Cairo, while others tossed nets and floating barriers, hoping to corner the Orca. But Cairo evaded every attempt, surfacing briefly only to dive again, Maris still in his grasp. A trainer tried to lure him away with fish and vocal commands from the medical pool, but there was no response. By 12:03, the emergency dive team arrived, but strict protocol prevented them from entering, while Cairo remained aggressive. They waited helplessly, watching the water's violent churn suddenly fall still. Finally, at 12:08, Cairo released Maris. Staff pulled her lifeless body from the pool's depths. Paramedics fought desperately with CPR poolside, but the silence of the crowd was deafening. Children wept, parents stared in stunned disbelief. Maris Ellington was pronounced dead at 12:23. In less than 7 minutes, a career built on devotion and trust ended. What made Cairo snap? Was it stress, instinct, or something more elusive, a mystery we still struggle to understand? The pool was left empty, filled only with silence and a haunting question that would forever echo through OceanWorld's halls. In the hours that followed, the park went into immediate lockdown. Scheduled shows were canceled, the amphitheater cordoned off, and a brief statement released just before sunset. We are deeply saddened to confirm the passing of one of our most experienced and beloved trainers, Maris Ellington. Our thoughts are with her family, friends, and the entire OceanWorld team during this devastating time. We are cooperating fully with authorities to investigate the incident, yet follow-up questions went unanswered. OSHA launched an immediate investigation, federal wildlife officials were notified, and veterinarians began behavioral assessments of Cairo. Hours of show footage were painstakingly reviewed, frame by frame, internal logs scoured, and previous incident reports resurfaced, records the public had never been allowed to see. The autopsy report came back within 48 hours, revealing a grim truth. Maris had suffered extensive blunt force trauma, injuries to her chest, abdomen, and neck, multiple fractured ribs, a dislocated shoulder, and pulmonary hemorrhaging. The official cause of death was drowning from prolonged submersion, though the medical examiner noted the internal injuries alone might have been fatal. When the details leaked to the press, the nation's reaction was swift and fierce. Headlines screamed, "Orca kills veteran trainer," "Tragedy at OceanWorld," "Killer whale turns deadly." Footage of the moments before the attack, smiling children, Maris waving to the crowd, looped endlessly on news channels. Experts debated the ethics of animal performances, and former trainers spoke out. One told Expressco Corey, "We warned about Cairo for years." That whale showed clear signs of distress, but no one wanted to listen. Protests erupted at the park's gates, animal rights groups demanded the immediate release of all captive orcas, and social media exploded with hashtags "Justice for Maris," "Free Cairo," "Shut down OceanWorld." Memorials appeared along the park's entrance, flowers, photographs, handwritten letters. Some mourned a fallen hero, others called for systemic change. The incident transcended a single tragedy, becoming a lightning rod in the ongoing battle over captivity, animal rights, and where the line lies between entertainment and exploitation. The question haunted everyone: could this have been prevented? And if so, why wasn't it? Maris's death wasn't isolated. It echoed a troubling pattern long shadowing marine parks. At its core lies a simple, painful question: should orcas, intelligent, social, wide-ranging predators, be confined at all? For years, the industry insisted the answer was yes, claiming shows were safe, whales well cared for, and trainers highly skilled. But the attack shattered that illusion. Just a decade earlier, in 2010, SeaWorld trainer Dawn Brancheau was killed by Tilikum, a male orca. Her death triggered a federal investigation. Marine biologists have long warned about the psychological toll captivity exacts on orcas. In the wild, these majestic animals swim up to 100 miles a day, hunting, socializing, and singing in dialects unique to their pods. In tanks, their world shrinks to concrete walls, strict feeding schedules, and repetitive performance routines, barely scratching the surface of their mental and physical needs. A 2021 Wired article quoted former trainers describing orca captivity as a pressure cooker, where stress, boredom, and fractured social groups lead to abnormal behaviors, self-harm, aggression toward other whales, and in rare, devastating cases, attacks on humans. In the wake of Maris's death, public outrage ignited legislative action. Petitions gathered millions of signatures, stalled bills were revived, and conversations shifted from awe and wonder to worry and accountability. When a top ocean predator turns on the person it trusted most, it forces a hard reckoning about captivity, consent, and consequence. The silence behind the tank's glass became a symbol of a fragile trust finally shattered. For OceanWorld and all who knew Maris, the echoes were impossible to ignore. Weeks later, the park suspended all in-water orca performances, moving trainers to dry stage interactions. Contact protocols were re-examined, emergency procedures overhauled, steps some saw as overdue, others as too little, too late. Yet the changes continued. A new department was created to oversee orca enrichment and mental stimulation. Outside experts, marine biologists, behaviorists, even former critics, were brought in to design safer, more ethical training programs. The once prized Orca program quietly scaled back. But Maris's legacy transcended policy. Her devastated family founded the Maris Ellington Foundation just 6 months after her passing, dedicating themselves to marine mammal research, safety training for handlers, and wildlife stewardship advocacy. Scholarship supported aspiring marine scientists, while colleagues at OceanWorld held candlelight vigils beside the main tank, silence broken only by Cairo, the orca who had taken her life, circling slowly beneath the surface. Friends remembered Maris not as a thrill-seeker but as a caretaker and listener, someone who believed trust, even between species, was sacred. One former co-worker said, "She never treated the whales like tools. She spoke to them like equal." Maris Ellington's story ended in violence, but her legacy lives on. In every conversation her death sparked, every policy reformed, every young scientist inspired, and every orca given a little more room to live as nature intended. Her life is a somber reminder of the complex relationship between humans and the wild, a story of passion and compassion, but also power, confinement, and the delicate line between trust and danger. Her death forced a global conversation not just about captive orcas, but about the choices we make for entertainment and the cages we build with steel, concrete, ignorance, profit, and pride. Can true connection exist in a space built on control? Can we claim to love an animal while denying it the freedom that defines its very nature? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary.